So we do have we have part 1 filed and also up on our DFM website if people need a refresher to go back to what we did in part 1. Part 2, Rick and Steve are going to get a bit more in depth around some of the functions within RedCap. And anyway, that's what we're up to. Feel free to ask questions at the end, and please go ahead and thanks.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks for everybody for coming for the second part of the RedCap Skill Builder. I think I'll do a small review, general review of what we did last Skill Builder, just a short one, just to get people more familiar again. But yeah, so our 2 learning objectives. 1, understand the basics of RedCap, general capabilities. Won't go in the same detail as we did last time, but I'll kind of do an overview again. And then, as Laura said, we'll also go into some advanced features of the software. So you guys remember RedCap is a web-based application for building a database, managing online database. It has both online and offline capabilities. And built into that, you have obviously storage abilities and also abilities to export that data to external softwares. And then built in with that as well are a whole multitude of other features. A lot we saw last Skill Builder, and this week we'll go into a few other ones, survey development, longitudinal data. We did reporting tools a bit last time, and we'll also go into mobile access. So in that part 1, so we kind of went over what RedCap is in terms of how it's accessed worldwide. We kind of went into how it's used at DFM in terms of how we can use it and what projects are using it. We did kind of an overview of general features, and we did a demo on a whole multitude of things, the interface, how to create a project, and more specifically the forms and instruments and data types, etc. So today, like I said, we'll go into the survey module, longitudinal data collection, and then Rick will go into the user rights and data access groups. He'll do an example of the mobile app, and if we have time, we'll do the randomization module as well. And this was also listed in last Skill Builder, but I'll list it again here. So there is a lot of resources available for furthering your knowledge on RedCap. So we have them all listed here, and I want to go through them all, but we do at the bottom there have our SOP that we created for the department. That's a good start for sure if you want to get involved if you're starting from scratch using RedCap.
And then there's, just to add also, there's no shortage of resources regarding RedCap. Whatever you want to learn regarding RedCap, you can always just Google it, and you can find one university has done already a step-by-step process of how to do things. So it's because it's done worldwide. So yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I think we're going to get more hands-on, but for the sake of the slides, because the slides can be accessed anytime afterwards, we did want to put more links to videos that kind of go into what we're going to be showing today as well. So you have on the slides here for future access. So survey module, there's actually a lot of videos you can find online on all the details of survey module. One thing to keep in mind is that a lot of the videos that are created are done on like previous versions of RedCap. So RedCap's constantly updated. So we're at, I think, version 9 point something now. Some of the videos you'll find like version 4, version 5. So it'll look different, but I think in general it functions the same. So I'll go through the survey module. I also want to highlight, so this is within RedCap. That's my pointer. There's training videos within RedCap when you log in, which I've put in the box there. Let's use your mouse maybe.
Oh, there.
This one. For some reason.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's okay. Actually, I probably will.
Yeah, you'll need to move over. That's okay.
It doesn't make sense.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah, so I need to access this. Okay. Then longitudinal data. I'll go into that after, but first we'll go into the survey module. And to do that, okay, let's access. So we'll do that. We'll go online. I'll do a brief overview at the same time of what we did last time. I need to log in on mine. Okay, so if you remember, so this is the main page. All your projects that you create will be here. So this is within our one instance, a DFM GP instance. This is the one where anybody has access to for smaller projects. So within here, I created that project last skill builder. Really slow. Okay. So so general pages, you find all basically on the left side. You have all your options within the project setup page. Different options. So this is, you want to go through this list. So in main project settings, here we'll get into these in a bit. Through here you can design your forms and collection instruments. You have more options down here, which are more advanced features to get into. We won't get into those today. And that continues down through here. And at the end, you can kind of, I finished this step, I'm done. And at the end, this is what RedCAP recommends you to do, is to click I'm done once you get through each stage and move the project into production. That's something we can discuss, but it makes it more difficult. Once you put it into production, you can't actually edit real time any of the forms or anything anymore without having to get it approved with the admin. And I think that goes through Chris, which is unfortunate for us. So what we've been doing is we just keep it in development, which I know they don't recommend doing that, but we have hundreds of projects, and if we were to ask Chris to make all these changes, it'd be like a full-time job. So for our sakes, I know if you're using it, you'll probably see that, or we're doing data collection, but the project still says development. Just ignore that. It's like a question we get quite often.
Yeah, so all of these are like step-by-step instructions. The main page settings is like a description of your project, the title, the PI. So all those details there. Designing is designing the forms. Enable modules is a lot of the advanced feature, like Steve mentioned, making longitudinal module, making randomization modules, repeating the different surveys and so on. So there's a lot of in there. And then bookmarks, those are special things that we've never used. But the other, at the end, you make it into a production mode. And as Steve said, we rarely make it into a production mode because, again, we have to ask permission to make changes real time. And the only difference there is that when you are using the randomization module, it's important that you make it into production mode, because there's an annoying warning that will tell you you're in production mode. You shouldn't randomize.
Yeah, development mode.
Yeah.
And those things will come up as you'll have questions as you use it. Like, this is more specifics, but okay. So if you remember last week or last skill builder, we went through that questionnaire, the nachos, I think it's called. So I'll go through that again for testing, nacho craving index. So we have that shared library that RedCAP has. And then we're also going to work on, or have been working on, we have the survey catalog in the department. And I'm going to work on turning that into kind of a shared library for RedCAP, because we can convert that into a form where you can just import it into RedCAP, but just for future reference. So I'll just import this survey again. Okay, so if you remember going through something like this, we went through it and did a data import or entered a bunch of data, etc. So if you want to turn this into a survey, so what we'll do, so there's it's frozen.
Yeah, it takes a while to up.
I'm not sure. Okay, so under the project setup, we have all the main project settings. Do you want to use surveys in this project? We'll enable that. Okay, so now we can use surveys, online designer. So now any of these forms that were already here can be enabled as a survey. So what we'll do is we'll enable that now chosen craving form as a survey. And so what that'll do, it'll bring up this host of options. So if you use survey software like Lime Survey or SurveyMonkey, etc., you know that there's a whole multitude of different options and things you can do with those surveys. So all this is similar here in RedCap. So all those options are within those survey settings. So you have your survey instructions. So what kind of the preamble, what comes up. You can change your design, put a logo, change the size of text, font if it changes. They have built-in themes, which will change how things look. More customizations, so you can do auto if you have questions within the survey that are numbered, etc. There's a lot of different options. I don't want to go into every one. I want to highlight a couple in particular. So access. I know survey access is important. So this is where you can limit the number of responses. You can put a time limit on the survey. Expiration. This one we use a lot is whether or not you want to allow an entry to be saved and returned to later. So if you want to, and they can access it again. If you want to give them they need another code or etc. So that's an important aspect of the surveys. At the end of the survey, you can also do a lot of text at the end, or you can redirect to a different URL at the end of the survey.
Yeah, with regards to save and continue later, you can either have a specific email, or they can just click save, and then they will be asked to provide their email, and they will be sent a link to recontinue or continue again the survey.
All right. Okay, so I didn't change much, but I'll just save changes. Okay, so now we see this one in particular is enabled as a survey. The first form, this is a finicky thing. The first form in the list of forms needs to be a survey if you want to add participants, which is what I found out the hard way. And then so once the tables or surveys are enabled, you'll see this option on the left side pop up: survey distribution tools. This is what I used to go into.
You can use that one. It's probably easier.
Like this. So we have that form set up as a survey. If you want to add in here, we can have our participant lists that's within the survey distribution tools. You can make the survey public if you want anybody to access it, or if you, obviously in a lot of cases we're not going to use that. You're going to have specific participants that you're going to send it to. This is where all that comes into play. So you add participants, where you can compose, you can export your participant lists, etc. So if you add participants, here's their emails. Yeah, so this is through emails. I don't need to do that right now. Maybe I should do that.
Yeah, and you can import a bunch of them if you have them in a spreadsheet. Just add them.
Right. So if you send out an email, the participant uses that email to access a survey. Their data that's entered will be saved under here. So if you remember last skill builder, when we entered data into that form, we went through this, we add, edit record, added a new record and filled it out. That was a data entry. If they do it through the survey, it'll come up here. So it sends it through email, access it, enter all the data, and it'll come up here into your records. I don't see it here, but then it would tell you if it's been completed or not. It looks a lot different as a survey, but I can't.
Yeah, that's the format for an online entry. But if you look at a survey, it won't have all the tools on the side. Can you show the link?
Yeah.
Open.
That's right. Open public survey.
Yeah, that's how it will look.
So this is how it looks on the back. So I changed the setting to grayscale, but although it comes up purple on that screen. So this is kind of what it looks like. You can change a lot of the design, not as much as you can change in like Lime Survey, etc. So I think the user interface or how it looks on RedCap maybe isn't as nice, but the capabilities, so you can build it into your database, is much better. Obviously, since it's all using the same software, all in RedCap, instead of using Lime Survey and using RedCap and Excel, etc.
Yeah, it's very simplistic because originally it was just for data collection, and then they expanded and they expanded. So the design is still becoming more and more complex in terms of the features or how it looks, but it's kind of basic and simplistic.
Yep. So if we were to just enter data here, doesn't all need to be done. So if I said I want to save return later,
It'll give you a link, or if I think we didn't enable
the
about the email. Yeah.
the option I left on there was they need a return code, so they'll have to copy this, and if they click that link again, they'll have to enter this code in to access it again.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is ready here. Continue survey now. Okay, so I'll submit that data. Okay, so then all this text comes up, whatever you wrote down, close survey, and then we'll see that data here as that existing record. So it's auto numbered. You can
go to record dashboard.
Or you can go to record dashboard. You can, by default, RedCap has any records that's auto numbered, so the very first person is going to be number 1. But you can also customize it, so you put whatever you want in it. You put their name, so you can make fields to pipe into a record name. So if they enter their name would come up as their record or whatever you wanted to customize it as. So you see here that we have that response, and it can't be altered. It's a setting, and it gives you all the responses, read only, all the information when it was submitted, etc. Yeah, so that's the general features of the survey module in RedCap. And yeah, there's the main settings are there's survey distribution tools, where you can keep a tab on everything, and then you can also set settings where anybody responds, you can get an email or notification. There's lots of settings towards it.
Yeah. Additionally, you can even schedule the emailing of or the sending of the survey. So that's also another feature of RedCap that you can use.
So here's the main page. There's a scheduling module.
So especially it's very useful for those who are doing like repeated measures, like a time series analysis, or even like after a certain time having the intervention, they can schedule it automatically that you don't even have to email it to your participants because RedCap will handle that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Does anybody have any questions about all that? No, it's kind of a lot.
We'll probably
And a bit
reserve the
confusing.
questioning after the.
Yeah.
What do the emails look like? Is it just a standard form, or is there room to put in extra text yourself?
The survey itself, the emails you create the emails, but for sending it, it will look like the
It'll look
survey. You can fill in whatever information you want. Yeah.
Can you in the emails
Yeah.
this form that gets where you put in the content of the email? Can you put in like codes for like the person's name or that sort of thing? So let's say like "Hello, Rick," or is it just a stock email that everyone gets the exact same?
Yeah, you can customize it.
Yeah, you can pipe in the names of the participant, the certain fields.
Yeah.
That's one of the terms that they use, piping in. So basically, if you have that field, you can put it in anywhere.
Yeah, piping. So if somebody gave an answer to a specific question, you can kind of
Move
put
it.
that answer into another question or another answer, whatever. You can use that as, which is kind of very useful. Okay, so that's in general, that's the survey module. So if you have any more questions about that, I know that was a bit quick and confusing. Okay, so that's the survey module. I also want to show you the longitudinal data collection. So using forms repeatedly or over time. So that's another main project setting, which you'll find here. I want to use longitudinal data collection with defined events. And as soon as you enable that, this option down here pops up. Define your events and instruments for them. So we have events, and then you designate forms. They call them instruments. They can just think of them as forms for those events. Okay, so this is the events page. So this is where you create different time points. So that you have event time point 1 by default, I'll just say.
You
Pre-intervention.
have different arms too.
Yeah, you
So
can
you can
also
set up
do different
different-
arms. Yeah.
Time
So
1,
depending on your study, you can
time 2, give it a label, optional, time 1, time 2. And then within, so you can have they call them arms, but like kind of groups. So some studies use arm 1 as intervention. Let's say arm 2 will be control. Just do arm 2. And then you can designate different events or time points for each group or arm. So we'll just do the same thing. Time 1 and time 3, let's say. And time 4. Okay. So that's where you create the time points. But then you want to designate, just a couple spots, designate instruments for those events or time points. So this is arm 1, arm 2. So we have 3 different forms there. I just imported this nacho craving survey that you saw me do. So you want to ask that at time 1 and time 2. You can do that, or just at time 2, whatever. Just do this. Okay. Save it, and then we can do, for the second arm, we're only going to ask that at time 3 and 4 might have made it confusing. But yeah, so I'll save that. Okay, so now we can see under the record status. So we have that record 1 already that we just imported from the survey, but now I've created a longitudinal data, so now it's separated arm 1, arm 2, 2 times, and then you can see that it's separated here. If you want to say edit, or now it's all separated here as well, arm 1, arm 2 for records. So now if I want to go here, you can see that I only made it an option to do this survey at the second time. And so that's kind of what it looks like. I can show you a larger kind of finished one. I think chap demo. So the chap demo, we have it set it up. There's no records in here, but we have a first visit, we have a follow-up every month of the year. And then you see at the first, I keep forgetting it's really slow on the screen. We ask the personal information at the first visit. We do a nurse assessment form and a fax form all in the first visit. And then the follow-up, we do a follow-up visit and then nurse assessment form again. Then we do the same thing, so another follow-up. So it's using that exact same, so you don't have to create a new form for each time point. It's just going to use the same form. It'll just separate it on the back end so that you know which data is for what.
Yeah.
It'll say event 2 or whatever you named it, instead of event 1.
So basically, the usefulness of the longitudinal is that you repeat the same questionnaire again and again for the same patient or participant, and then you just assign it based on, like, for example, intervention group will answer pre-intervention and post-intervention, and they will not and they will also, for example, evaluate the program if it's good or not. But the control group will only answer pre-intervention and the post-intervention assessment. Of course, they didn't have the intervention, so they will not answer the evaluation form. So that's the usefulness of the what's this? A longitudinal design. You can assign it.
Can you set up when the time points should be within RedCap?
Yeah, you can schedule it.
Yep.
Yeah, you can make it as a scheduler. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll do that quickly. It's not touch screen. Schedule module. So now I enabled that scheduling module. So now you'll see on the left side there's a scheduling. So it's all built it into your calendar.
Yeah.
If you want to do.
Yeah, the only thing with the scheduling module is that I don't think it's all blank participants, so we won't have.
Yeah, you can't do.
You can't schedule because you have to place participants in there, and then you have to schedule
Yeah.
the when.
Is
Right.
the scheduling fixed, like as in you schedule it for, January 13th, 2020, or is it relative, like can you say 6 months after